The heroin epidemic raising concerns also for first responders. They're taking extra precautions like wearing masks. The clothing I have on here is white. You would see any ticks on this. I have long white pants on, and also I've tucked my pants into these long white socks. We're right about to 7 inches already, and from what we're hearing, we know that that's just going to continue.
For visitors at Canada-Harry schools, instead of just signing in, they will now have to give their license or government-issued ID and get a visitor badge. If anyone is on any level of the sex offender registry, law enforcement will be notified and the superintendent has to sign off before they enter. Police will not confirm or deny this, but Macomber says it was right here in this area where Sergeant Strzok allegedly then threw a hot cup of coffee at him. You see an ad on Craigslist, you're ready to rent the perfect home for you and your family. But when you get there, knock on the door, the homeowner answers and has no idea what you're talking about.
We came here to the Hudson Opera House to try and ask Governor Cuomo some questions about funding for Hoosick Falls. We were told there will be no off-topic questions, so we're trying to catch him here outside.
PFOA contamination in the town of Hoosick, a major problem, but it's something very small, these carbon particles that can help reduce levels.
Not just the street names, they've even gone so far as to make things dangerous by stealing stop signs. Chief McFadden was thrown from his motorcycle. He ended up on the side of the road calling for help. He says the only thing comforting to him was when he started to see some familiar faces. Why this is where everyone wanted to come after the storm, not just for the food.
There are hundreds of kids here and families all working to fight back against cancer. And you guys are having a good time, right?
Yeah. Let's keep people smiling.
How are you staying warm? Does this help you?
Under Armour is keeping me warm.
Okay, all right. He's got a lot of stuff and snow pants on there. Well, high five. You definitely brightened up. Oh, he says hi, Steve.
Great night, Steve.
He definitely brightened up our time out here.
News 10 ABC's Lindsay Nielsen is a judge for today's event. She joins us live to tell us more about the competition. Hard work for you tonight, Lindsay.
Lydia, it's been incredible being here. I'm back from last year. I was here, and the competition just keeps getting better and better. Some people have been begging for a new water source in Hoosick Falls, but they may not have known that work was happening right here on this farm and a test well already in place. Do you have anything to say? Do you have anything to say? Why were they searching your home, John? Do you know what this is about? John, what do you have to say about these charges? What about yesterday? Homeland Security was at your house. Why were they searching your house, John? Are you innocent, John? Do you have anything to say? Do you think that it's good to still be working on patients right now, or?
Yeah, that's what I am.
Did you steal money from your patients?
No, I never did in 34 years.
You never stole money?
Never.
Did you do bad work on them or work that wasn't necessary?
Talk to my lawyer, no comment.
Let's begin, though, with our Lindsay Nielsen, who's got the breakdown on the exact charges here. They're serious stuff. Lindsay.
Well, John, both men are facing manslaughter charges and charges of criminally negligent homicide. But those who lost people here in the fire about 2 years ago to this day tell me that these arrests will not bring back their loved ones.
All he had to do was his job. He was getting a paycheck. Do your job. And now people are dead, so he's got to carry that.
J Street fire survivor Anthony Cortese claimed from the day I first met him, minutes after he escaped the fatal blaze, that fire alarms were not working in the building and people became trapped inside.
Harry Simpson. I can still hear him screaming.
Today's Schenectady County DA Robert Carney confirmed that not one single fire alarm was working at 104 J Street. Building manager Jason Sachs is accused of tampering with the fire alarm system, failing to maintain it, and canceling a fire monitoring system months before the fire in January 2015.
So not only was the fire panel non-operational, it was in trouble mode on every residential floor.
DA Carney says 911 calls alerted responders to the fire on March 6th that killed 4 people, not the fire alarm system.
I'll just never forget it, you know. people desperately trying to save their lives, and you just knew that there was no way to save them.
In this indictment, Schenectady Code Enforcement Officer Ken Tyree is accused of falsely claiming in inspection documents that the fire alarm system was operational when he inspected the building the day before the fire.
He should have ordered either an evacuation of that building or the establishment of a fire watch.
What I hope happens through this is that from here forward, building inspectors take their job seriously. These laws are on the books for a reason.
A woman who says she is Tyree's fiance stated outside of court that it's in God's hands.
How am I feeling? I just drove all the way from Connecticut, getting this news last night. I'm not feeling that great. I feel helpless right now.
Now, Tyree is also accused of putting false information on his employment application when he applied for the city code enforcement job. The DA says that this investigation is far from over. Live in Schenectady, Lindsay Nielsen, News 10, ABC.
Lindsay Nielsen spoke with this man's mom. Joins us with the exclusive story. Lindsay.
Well, John, Sergeant Victor Gamoyman was off duty when he saved 2 lives from that burning building where he's stationed in South Korea. He wasn't able to talk with me today. He is in training, but I did catch up with his mother.
I got a text, and his text said, I may have carbon monoxide poisoning.
A worried mother, Carol Munn of Waterford, responded and asked her son, Staff Sergeant Victor Gamoyman, what happened. Gamoyman, who's stationed overseas in Osan, South Korea, with the 339th Quartermaster Company, was heading to commissary on February 5th when his wife, Nicole, noticed smoke coming from this apartment building. Sergeant Gamoyman raced over to help.
People were screaming out front and said that there were a mother and her baby on the 3rd floor.
That's when Sergeant Gamoyman went inside the front of the building.
He couldn't get in. He was overcome with smoke.
But that didn't stop him.
He had gone around to the back of the building and scaled a pipe up to the 3rd floor.
That's right. He climbed this pipe, which later turned out to be not a water pipe, but a gas pipe.
I was angry, until I really processed it, and realized it was such a brave thing to do. Just so relieved that, he was okay.
He was able to get the woman and her baby who were trapped inside to the balcony and waited for fire crews to arrive.
He is in the military, and it is his training. Other people weren't physically capable of doing it where he was and didn't stop to think.
That first text he sent his mother about his health now explained.
He had carbon monoxide poisoning for a week, and he had to take medication for that.
A hometown hero already. Now Sergeant Gamoyman is a hero in South Korea. Anything you want to say to him?
I love you. Proud of you.
Very proud of her son, as she should be. Now, Sergeant Gamoyman has served 2 tours in Iraq and 1 in Afghanistan. At one time, his job, according to his mom, was finding landmines. Now, he is expected to come home sometime this summer. Live in the Media Center, Lindsay Nielsen, News 10, ABC.
It was smoke-filled, generally in a blue haze. You worked.
In 1987, Annette Griffith, a young girl in her 20s, breathing in heavy blue smoke is what she remembers about her time making Teflon-coated fabrics at this old plant in North Bennington.
On the warning labels on every barrel of dispersion that we received from DuPont stated, in any heat application, any and all fumes must be completely exhausted.
But Griffith says the smoke wasn't completely exhausted.
No mask.
No mask.
Griffith says she eventually became the chair of health and safety.
That particular year, we had had 5 heart attacks, and 2 of which died. And then another younger man in his 30s passed away of cancer. So I started digging a little deeper in what we were using.
She says some workers complained to her about the smoke, feeling sick and...
every time you blew your nose, there was blood in it.
But she says those complaints fell on deaf ears.
Once I brought up a complaint in the meetings, and I would go back and report to that person, it would go nowhere.
David Barber still lives near the plant, formerly known as ChemFab. Now frozen in time, it sits near the Walloomsac River. He recalls that blue haze and working directly with toxic chemicals.
They actually told us, don't worry about it, nothing will bother you. It's like we put our arms right up to our armpits in the wet Teflon, it was just like fat-free milk. It was just like a watery substance. And, they said, don't worry.
That mix contains the hazardous chemical PFOA. Now they wonder, how did it poison drinking water for many with private wells in the area?
They had a drain in the floor, which they would squeegee anything down the floor or into the drain. Personally, I think they need to look under that building.
After reading through dozens of pages of Vermont state documents, I found that Griffith wasn't the only one making accusations. A long history of grievances made by those living close by were filed from 1975 to 1997. Around 30 complaints were filed about odor and smoke coming from the plant.
And that just stunk so bad. It smelled like hair burning or bodies even.
I said, so if it's not safe for the environment, how is it safe for us?
After further checking documents, I found that at one time, 2 enforcement actions were filed by DEC against ChemFab. An odor abatement plan was developed, and the company later installed pollution control measures.
They pay out fines like it was handing candy to the kids, and that's disgusting.
St. Gobain acquired the factory in 2000 and shut it down in 2002. They are now paying for bottled water for those in North Bennington and filtration systems. Barber was the first person in North Bennington to have a filtration system installed.
And you're just waiting now to see if it's obviously working.
Right.
For Barber, the pain now is those he's lost, friends he worked with, and his daughter, he says, has cancer.
I always figured, don't worry about the water. Working there would have killed me.
Griffith has been diagnosed with a multitude of health issues. Her service dog, Lydia, comforting her. She too wonders if some could be related to PFOA or other toxic chemicals she worked with decades ago when she was the picture of health.
It makes you angry when they knew it was all about money. It was all about the money.